And
Then
we're live. What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Fielding with the Food Academy. We're about to talk about diet. What you drinking there, Tyler?
Um, a 100% fruit smoothie.
Very good.
Staying hydrated.
Sean, yeah, Sean, you were telling us all about the fat diet. So what you've been doing it for like 2 months?
Oh no, I mean I've been eating like that for like 7 months or something like that, but I just started working out in like the last 2 months roughly. So that's where that big changes come from. I can put that on that picture to show Tyler and Jared.
Yeah, before and after.
Like a,
let's
Yeah,
see
it's
it.
pretty good.
Am I gonna get aroused though? Because like I'm trying really hard not to get aroused on camera. That's like something that's
It's
important.
good change.
Just like
good thing.
if you could just
Just
The
don't
good thing is
pan
you
These
can
guys-
move the camera.
just warn me. I'm keeping my hands in sight. Like
Wait, you guys want to see my
Oh, dude.
burn?
oh god, man, you really got yourself good, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's worse than I thought it was gonna be.
Gonna be a cool scar though.
Look, there's the before and after.
Hey buddy, over what time period is that?
So it was like 7 months total that I like diet changed 7 months, but like I didn't start working out until the last like 2 months roughly.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man.
It was like very haphazard.
I'd had a huge transformation in 2 months too, but then like I changed my diet after I stopped working out, and I've regressed. Like half of that's like a third of my weight gain has gone away. Like I lost it because I didn't maintain my diet. But
Yeah, it's
diet, I didn't really have a very specific diet. I was just cramming as many calories into my face a day as I could. That was where they came from. It was just I didn't want to get fancy with it. I was just trying to put as many calories in my body as possible. And it was kind of
Yeah.
disturbing, honestly. But
yeah. Gotta do
So-
what you gotta do.
That's what Ryan was doing. He was, what were you on, like 2,500 calories or 3,000? I remember you coming home
Yeah.
and
I originally started talking to Sean about this because I was having a heart issue back in February, and I think it was related to stress. So I tried my diet, and I believe it has something to do with the diet, but I have the opposite problem. So whenever I eat less, if I'm not eating like 2,500 to 3,000 calories a day, I start to lose weight. I have the opposite problem because I have a high metabolism, and it could be because I got an overactive thyroid or something like that. But my diet is a huge thing, huge problem in my life. So this is a very, very big issue for me.
So,
yeah.
Sean, maybe you could explain to us what this so-called fat diet is, why you like it, sort of
Yeah.
how it like benefits the human body, sort of like what sort of
Sure.
and what have you come across?
Right. So it's like telling Mike and Ryan the anecdote just before this. So like let's think of it from an evolutionary perspective, like if as say hunter gatherers you come upon an apple tree like in spring, you're gonna look at this apple tree because you're having to hunt down all your food and chase all your food. You take the apples and you're eating these sugars and your brain so you're getting this quick fuel because sugars is what your body burns first, and so you're eating these apples and your brain is signaling to your body once you're taking in these sugars like let's store the fat so that later on down the road when maybe there isn't apple trees around we'll be able to utilize this fat energy source because fat is 3 times more dense as an energy source. So yeah, it just makes more sense to hunt heavier nutrients so that you can have much more calories later on. And so I was telling these guys that like with the current paradigm of eating, like with the supermarket model and stuff, we're constantly exposed to apple trees because all sugar is the same when it's broken down in your small intestine, whether it's fruit, candy bars or vegetables or bread, stuff like that. There's just obviously more sugar content in, say, candy bars and stuff like that. And so, yeah, you see this, like, in modern society, we have constant access to sugar, carbohydrates in particular, and so people's bodies are constantly holding on to fat nonstop. And so that's why, since this idea behind diet has become the standard, regards to like the standard American diet, let's say, we've seen explosions of the obesity epidemic, as well as like type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease. And yeah, from what I've noticed and read, recent evidence seems to point to carbohydrate diets as the culprit. So yeah, I'm just kind of like experimenting for myself and having a look.
Michael, I don't know if you remember when we were on the sailing trip, we listened to this podcast, and I think it was someone on Econ Talk who came on and was saying, well, I didn't really like the way he described it. He wasn't very persuasive, but he was on this same idea that carbohydrates were in the amount that we're consuming them a bad thing, and that fat was better. But I remember I didn't think he was very persuasive about it, but I don't remember much of what he said, honestly.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that as well, and I've kind of heard the idea a few different times, and Sean's the only person I know who's dove hardcore into it, so it's been cool to hear, his results and everything.
Right.
So I guess I have never thought too much about my diet at all. Feel like almost all the time, and so far it's been effective for me. So I guess I'm curious, do you guys think a lot about your diet? Do you like try to select healthy things, or does it vary, or how's it for you guys?
I live off prana.
Well, I don't know.
I think I go through phases where I've been very concerned about my diet and really focused on trying to eat healthier, and then eventually, I don't know, the ebbs and flows, I kind of lose track of my diet, and then I do that for a while, and then I start thinking, man, I've really been eating bad lately, and then I want to get focused about my diet again. I think some things I've watched make it seem, the reason why I'm concerned at all, it doesn't seem to affect me so much now. I think there's a slight placebo effect. When I eat healthier, then I think I feel slightly better. I don't think I actually do. I think I'm rewarding myself for this idea that, but where I'm concerned is that long-term poor diets and nutrient deficiencies over the long term cause a lot of the health problems that I think a lot of people face. And I've seen documentaries and I've read some stuff that was persuasive to me that says that a lot of the problems that the average American, for example, faces health-wise, let's say in their late 40s, and on, can be linked back, or they're trying to make the claim that it can be linked back to just diet deficiencies that in the short term aren't a big deal, but when you're deficient in certain nutrients for like a 30-year time period, eventually, it just causes more stress on your body and things start breaking down. So that's the interest I have in my diet, but I'd be lying if I said when I drink a fruit smoothie or something like that I feel it instantly that I'm treating my body better. But when I look long term, it seems to make. That's why I care. But I'm really inconsistent with it.
I'm ashamed of everything I feel with myself. It's just it contributes to low self-esteem too, because I know I'm eating shit food, but hungry, so I gotta eat, and I try not to think about it. That's why I scarf my meals down. And whenever I do try to eat healthy, I end up falling into marketing schemes like, how everything's packaged to say, oh, it's so healthy and stuff like that. And then I do feel like that placebo effect that Jared's talking about. That's how it is for me.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things with feeling guilty or like feeling bad in relation to eating certain foods, because I think the big problem is we get down on ourselves when we start to feel like addicts, right? So like someone who's very self-conscious about their diet, it seems like they start to beat themselves up when they're like, you know, slamming pizzas and ice cream and like very greasy, or like maybe like drinking a lot, or you know, this and that. And I think a part of how you feel is probably physiological, right? It's the way that sort of the garbage you're putting into your body is affecting your body, but also I think a big part of it is like the psychology behind it, right? You sort of, maybe you feel like, oh shit, I can't not slam a whole pizza every night. Yeah, so then you get down on yourself for not having a certain level of like willpower. Yeah, and so then that just makes you even more lethargic and then depressed, and you're like, fuck, now I need to get a six pack to sort of wash my sorrows away, you know, and then.
I think through Tyler's, I was that person that Tyler talked about, and actually around him at the same time while I was that person too. Like, another really positive thing for me from this new diet, and when I say low carb, high fat, low carb can be anything up to like 200 grams, obviously depending on how much you exercise. But now I eat twice a day. And like, whereas before, you can ask him, I used to eat like 5 times a day, and even between, I would be starving, like, because you get these hunger whenever your insulin levels, you know, when you eat sugar, they spike up, and then your body takes care of it, the insulin delivers the nutrients to and you crash super hard. Well, as soon as you crash, I believe it's leptin or ghrelin, one of the two, but a hormone that controls hunger spikes up instantly. And so you can ask him, you would just get what they call hangry and like annoyed and just so hungry that it hurts, man. And I would do that. I would go through these cycles 5 times a day, like while I used to lift weights, and now I'm still lifting weights, but I'm running once, and I eat dinner at night. And most of the time, I don't eat throughout the day. I'm never hungry. I never experience those pains. Like, the best part about it.
Hey, Sean, can you backtrack a little bit? Because I was really interested, but you cut out. You said start over from the meals you eat a day, real quick.
Oh, yeah. So I eat breakfast in the morning, and then I eat dinner at night, and that's it. And I experience no hunger throughout the day. And so, like, this goes specifically hand in hand with what Tyler's saying. Like, psychologically, I don't worry about any of that stuff anymore. Like, none of this, any of these concerns that just draw energy out of you day in and day out. It's like food no longer like controls me. It's a tool now that works for me. So.
And can you give an example of what like a breakfast meal would be for you? Because I'm assuming there's a lot of calories going on if you're only eating 2 meals a day.
You'd be surprised. Not too many, because when you're working. Oh, right. So calories maybe so, but not a ton. But because they're based out of fat, I don't eat like as much material. Yeah. So like, for example, like an omelet with spinach and cheese, mushrooms, and avocado and bacon. And that's breakfast.
And then like, are you doing the whole butter in your coffee thing?
Oh, yeah, and I throw butter in my coffee, and I do butter and omelets and stuff. Yeah, it's good.
How many eggs in your omelet?
What's that?
How many eggs in your omelet, I think?
I don't know. I don't even count. Oh, well, so I go to a place. In my particular situation, I go to a place for breakfast.
4 or like 7, I don't know. I'm just cracking them, but I
don't eat that much. There's just a dozen eggs in my omelet and butter in my coffee.
And personally, like, I prefer to I get my food from like good sources too. Like, luckily here in New Zealand, we have a ton of farmers all around, and it's a real big environment on like herbicide and pesticide free vegetables, as well as like free range animals and stuff without any hormones. So I prefer that. But I know a lot of people, there's some folks that do this diet that are pretty notorious who they don't really have concerns. They're just more interested in the dollar value too. So I think it,
And what
you
does
know,
the waitress say whenever you put a spoon of butter in your coffee?
so
Did you
like
catch
I usually just bring my butter along with me and then throw it in the coffee.
You just put it in your pocket, or like you carry a purse, or where does it go?
Yeah, in my pocket.
Is that
In a
butter?
plastic.
You fucking lost it, dude.
You
You completely lost it.
can't leave without butter. Like
Right.
Paula Dean had it right.
Right. No, seriously. No hunger pains whatsoever, and yeah, it's great.
Sean,
How's your
Sean
stool,
walks
though?
up and says,
How's your
"Something in
stool?
my pocket for you."
All right, you said you exercise, Sean. What kind of exercises do you do?
Um,
Why don't you demonstrate with your shirt off, please?
so like I do, I lift weights, because I like resistance exercise. I mean, obviously it produces results much faster for me, for sure.
So
And it gets my endorphins going real hard too. It makes me feel great. But then I also I do like 2 muscles a day, 5 days a week usually. But even that is like, I used to be way more hardcore about it, but now I just do like a couple weeks on and then take some weeks off, and then I'll take like hikes and go surfing, and I don't know, man. I just like to have more fun with it now than like I used to be real concerned about getting really ripped and being a bodybuilder and stuff, but now I don't know. I just like being fit and like knowing that I'm taking care of myself. Really, that's the best part about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Awesome.
that's what I think one of the most important things like about a diet is it's right like diet is what we do like every day, right? Like it almost doesn't make sense to talk about like having a diet, right? Because it's just like you eat to live, and so it's something that we do every day. And like when you start to focus on that, you have a sort of you have something to constantly be regulating. And I think that why it's so beneficial to focus on your diet is because it gives you the opportunity to um, like what you were saying, Sean, have fun with it and make yourself feel like you're doing a good thing for yourself, because really what focusing on your diet amounts to is you're focusing on yourself. And sometimes it takes willpower to change your diet or something like that, and I think that in the long run that just enforces good character traits in people. And so uh, as opposed to just letting loose and just eating whatever you want willy-nilly, when you sort of like submit to certain regimens, or you change your diet up periodically, and you transition from one way of doing things to another, it's kind of like rewarding, because you're like, yeah, like I've been training for this marathon and now I reached the mountaintop and I feel really good. It's almost like, yeah, I kicked the pizza and the ice cream and I'm doing this thing and I'm working out. Go
Right.
me.
Well,
Like, and then you have confidence.
I'm not very scientific with when I think I'm eating healthy. Like I think one thing I've realized is that I don't like eating things that have like 50 ingredients on them. Like that's like one of the big things that's like an easy red flag for me. So I don't eat a lot of super processed food, but I think that's why when I go through phases where I eat a lot of fast food, I do get a little down on myself, because I guess I just don't. I imagine if I looked at the what's in the bread or whatever, there'd be a ton of ingredients, and it's a really unscientific way to do it. But I think that that's an example of something that makes me nervous, or I get down on myself, is when I start eating a lot of stuff that
Yeah.
when I can't pronounce half the stuff in the ingredients, I'm a little concerned, or yeah, I feel that. And when I was living in the woods, I mean, we cooked a lot in the woods, but just because you didn't want to be out there during the heat of the day, we'd go to places throughout the middle of the day. A lot of times it'd be a coffee shop, but a lot of times it'd be some fast food place. And I think that was one of the things that was hardest on me with the woods is I just felt guilty about, having fast food so consistently. But I guess
Yeah, that's it. I see. Like I said, I never really concern myself with it, but I find myself naturally like what I desire kind of mediates my diet. I feel like I get a good variety, and it's just I happen to crave a certain thing, and I'll eat that, or I don't know. Yeah, I don't feel guilty about my lack of attention to my diet. Like if anything, I feel liberated because my body is able to just kind of handle itself, and I don't have to think about it, and it just tells me when it's hungry, and it tells me when it's thirsty, and it tells me when it wants fruit or fat or anything. I just feel like it, and then I do it, and it's kind of fun that way. And so far it's working. I mean, if I had serious body problems, I'm sure I would take more attention to it, but I don't know, whatever. Like, I feel like the amount of exercise and the diet I'm doing makes me feel good right now, so I rock the boat.
Is there any concern though that it'll catch up with you maybe? That when you
I'm not playing that long. I almost blew up like last week, so I don't think it's gonna be my diet that kills me. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, I try not to drink lead water, and like, I don't know, not so much on the chemicals in it. I'm not too worried about that. But also, I'm not eating the same ones over and over and over again either. Like, I'm sure it builds up if you do that, but I think just having a variety and like, the body flushes stuff out of the system pretty well, it seems like. So
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like you have an eating problem, so.
If anything, I have like, a laziness problem, and I won't eat because I don't want to clean dishes, so I'll just put it off as long as possible.
So I convince myself that I'm not hungry.
Yeah, like I
Well,
haven't eaten yet today. I'm pretty hungry.
Inspiration for me. I mean, his thought into his diet is really, I mean, that's great. He found what works for him. I'm not there yet.
I haven't found it.
Yeah, I am a big believer in what Mike's saying though. This you just kind of listen to your body and trust that it's gonna cause cravings for nutrients that you need and things like that. I definitely
worry about that.
So as long as it doesn't turn into like a disorder, right? Like a problematic disorder, like just in the same way that cocaine can like take hold of people's lives, food can take hold of people's lives too.
Well, yeah, and I think that's part of what Sean's saying is that we're used to having such high carbohydrate, like sugar intense diets that maybe we haven't evolved to handle that well. Can become like you end up craving it, even though it may not be the best thing for you. So
that's why we need to eat all the sugar so that we help our partners out in the future, right? We're the ones who are helping to like evolve our bodies.
I don't think we consume all take down all the fruit all the fruit trees and like
no fruit. No, okay. Look, let's get okay. Like I want to ask a question because I just don't understand when people say, well, like I guess I get when they say all sugars are ultimately the same because yeah, it's like sugar is sugar, but like I don't think that sugar from fruits and sugar that's been like through a like refining process that gets put in a Snickers bar or the sugar that gets sort of like produced in your body when you eat bread. Like I'm just not sure if that's affecting your body in the same ways. So like I guess what I'm doing is I'm putting that claim into question, what Sean had said back at the beginning.
Right.
Well, there are carbohydrates, but yeah.
Right. So one's what dextrose, and the other is fructose. But then, like when it's processed in your body, then it all turns into glucose. So glycogen first, which is in glucose. Is that how it works?
Isn't it glucose
Yeah.
is what you consume and then glycogen's what you store it as? Is that right?
Right, right. There you go. Yeah, so I mean, the difference would be then in the transfer process. So maybe like table sugar, dextrose is harder for your body to transfer into glucose or glycogen than
I think
fructose.
it's
But
easier is the problem.
what's that?
I think it's easier. I think it breaks down into glucose faster than fructose. I was just Googling real quick while you guys were talking. So,
Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
heard fructose is hard to, or hard, I don't know what that means though, but I've heard fructose is
slows
hard.
it down. And so it's, yeah, if you take a shot of a sugar packet, you know, it's going to go into glucose real fast and spike your insulin versus, yeah, fruit, because it's contained in there with the water and the fibers and all this other stuff, it slows down the process, which
Right.
kind of, you know, helps your body equilibrate. And it's not like, oh shit,
Yeah.
there's so much sugar, let me pump out a ton of insulin, like, in a hurry.
Right.
And I don't know. Which is funny because Daniel Fuqua always talked about, you know, fresh squeezed juices and stuff, and you know how is allowing your body to uptake all these nutrients so much faster. And I was always like, well, why is that a good thing? Why does that sound good? Like, I mean,
Like-
I don't know. Juices taste great. I like that part of them, but I was always just like, why not eat the apple? You know, the fibers for you too. I mean, you're not really getting anything, but it helps your tract, your digestive tract, I think, to like have some fillers in there, not just straight liquid.
Yeah, well, and there's I watched a documentary, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. It's on Netflix. I think there's even a second one I haven't seen. But anyway, I only say
We
that,
love food.
but it's about juicing, basically, and about this idea to do all juicing diets and stuff. And one of the things people struggle with a lot is they struggle with, sorry, I was a little distracting, the water or whatever. But they struggle with the fact that, like, they're used to chewing food, so when they can drink, you know, 3,000 calories of juice a day, but they don't get the sensation of chewing, so their body continues to like send the signal like they haven't eaten because they associate the two so strongly. So one good thing about the apple versus the juice is you're still getting to solve the craving to chew, but you're still going to get the nutrients of the apple, I guess. But
Yeah, and it slows you down.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like,
I mean,
and I think a lot of that is owed to your saliva. Saliva, sort of like when it's in your gut, it like mixes with, you know, the juices in your gut, and that sends out pew 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 throughout your body, and it does various things, you know. So like I think the whole
very
sort of
scientific.
like the whole metabolism process, which is most efficient or something for your body, right? Like the way to uptake the most nutrients from what you eat is to chew, so that you have saliva.
I think I want to say two more things about like this low carb high fat thing too. Is like one, I like how it's a lot more economical for me. It's like obviously to eat only 2 meals a day as opposed to 5 is way more economical in the long run. Like to an insane.
it's just so dense. That's what it is? That's why fat's just so much more dense that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean 3 times as dense. So
Yeah.
9 calories per gram of fat, whereas sugars, carbohydrates only have 3, and protein is only have 3. Yeah, and also, so along the line, like I think, or I guess my idea of it at least is that the less that my internal organs are having to work and process food all day long, then hopefully like the better suited they'll be in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So like instead of driving your car 5 times a day, you're only doing it 2 times a day. So hopefully it can last, you know, a greater amount of years in a healthier manner.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's exactly
I have
right.
right.
I've heard that before, and the reference or the analogy that someone told me when they were communicating that is they're like, basically, okay, so if you think about fish, they talk about stressing the fish out as bad, but they use stress really broadly, like um, if like you have an aquarium, it's like the water being unhealthy stresses the fish, the glass stresses the fish, basically anything that could have any sort of like intense hormonal response or something from the fish is stresses them, and
Yeah.
they say it shortens the lifespan. And in a similar way, they say that every time you're making your body do some sort of big process like digesting, you're actually putting a lot of strain on your body. And so they give the example of like monks, in the mountains that are eating like a bowl of rice a day, and that's basically all they're giving their body. It's just putting a lot of stress on their digestive tract and all those things. And this person was just, I mean, I haven't looked into it, but they're making the claim that minimizing the amount of intense processing your body does is going to decrease the the potential for cancers or just the stress that each organ has to go through. So I don't know if people talk about that before, but
to exercise though, because it sounds like the exact opposite of the idea behind exercise, which is that you're stressed, you make it healthier. So why would I don't know.
That's the
You're
thing.
wrong. It sounds like the opposite from that other part of being healthy.
Right.
He was also saying that like the monks aren't very active either. So like he was listing those two things together as an overall good for longevity, is they have very inactive physically days, they consume very little food, and those two things together actually, that was the argument this person was putting forward.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true. But also you see a lot of pro athletes die really young. Or I don't know about really young, but for like the physique that they have, dying much younger than you would expect. So maybe that has to do with the intense stress of all the.
Well,
I'm
Michael,
not
I think
have enough statistics on that one.
it goes along with the whole anti-fragility approach. Like you're talking about, like chronic, long-term stress as opposed to like acute, short-term stressors. So, like, say if let's see, your immune system is constantly getting small shocks every single day that are like, you're having to work to repair from.
Yeah, like that.
And yeah, exactly. Or then one person gets like just big stressors every now and then, and it's just enough to not break the system. Like I think the second person has those lull periods of recovery, they're able to respond to the stressors a lot better. Whereas if you just have a chronic dull stress nonstop, that is much more dangerous, I would say.
I have one recommendation on the low fat or the low carb, high fat diet is that if somebody was interested in trying this out, giving it a go, I did it personally. I might be interested in doing it again, but to take it in steps, get your body used to it. Don't just jump into it like I did. Because what I did, I tried it out. I had way too much fat. I ate a steak, some jalapeno poppers. I put butter on it. That night, I woke up at 3 a.m. and I felt like my body was just saturated. I just gonna have a hard time. So work yourself into it, possibly, if you're interested into it. And I think it's that way with any kind of medicine. You're trying out a new medicine, you have to gradually up your dose. You can't just go balls to the wall.
Right.
Yeah. Sean, will you just spend some time describing in explicit detail your stool?
That stool is solid. Doesn't take explicit detail.
No, I want to
Solid.
exactly. Mike,
Hold
isn't
on.
there a chart? Isn't there like 9 stools like types or something?
7, yeah, the Bristol stool chart.
Yeah, I would say
I had one or two the other day.
I don't.
mine's mostly mine's mostly like shards of glass consistency.
Hard to
What Ryan was saying, that's like commonly known as the keto flu. It's like within like the first week or 2, it's kind of like you can feel sick at times, and like your body, it takes a bit for your body to adjust from burning sugar, which all of us have done our whole life, to using fat as its primary fuel source.
Yeah. No. Hey, I think we should close this out pretty soon, but do you guys have last thoughts? And I'd love to invite the audience to comment and or send in video replies or something, or let's have another one with some new people and tell us how you do your diets. But any last thoughts, you guys?
Yeah. Eat fruit, lay on the ground, and say Om. And then you'll live a long time, Sean. You don't need to go down the technology route.
Technology is just going to help us live even longer.
You
No,
just
but real
sit in
quick,
the sun.
I think Tyler did say something really good earlier. Like when one of the biggest things from like having a great response to a diet is just the fact that you're experimenting with yourself. And when you have success with this, then you're going to start experimenting with yourself in other realms of your life. So it just leads to a healthy lifestyle too. You know, your diet choice. You know, given that it works for you, I think it can lead to some positive benefits in other realms of your life too. So give it a try.
The diet
Cool.
goes beyond the food, my friends. Diet goes beyond the food.
There you go.
Can't spell
thank-
diet without
thank you.
die. All right, yeah, thanks everybody. I don't know, Ryan, you cut out just now, but Jared, Ryan, Sean, Tyler, peace out, you guys. Thanks for watching, anyone. All right, later.